Like, you can't get higher than trans. And then the disability mob comes in and they're like, whoop, we're going to raise that up another level and we're going to add another dollop of whipped cream on top of the cherry. And now it's about, just because the interesting thing is, like, with all of those other immutable characteristics, even with, transgenderism and people who are trans and things like that, like, that's evident physical. You can see that. And I think now that, transgender people have become more normalized into our culture via exposure and popular media and things like that, we can kind of tell, like, okay, like, that's a trans person. People are more open about it now. But oftentimes with disabilities, unless it's a physical disability like cerebral palsy or something, or mental retardation or Down syndrome, you can't tell if someone's autistic. And that's why I don't say disabilities are the tip of the spear. It's autism that is the tip of the spear,
Hmm.
because autism is a quote unquote invisible disability to
Yeah.
people. You cannot
And
quantify your autism in that way.
another thing, this is just kind of like unfalsifiable bits of social capital generally. So like non-binary is another one in this category.
Yeah.
Like you can't disprove if someone's non-binary,
Yes.
but it's like you don't have to have like an official diagnosis from a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You can just kind of declare yourself to be autistic and then
Yeah.
you get the social capital.
Well, and that's exactly right, because, I think the reason why you do not see, like, you don't see people doing, like, coming out TikToks for "I'm mentally retarded now," or I have cerebral palsy," or "I have or no, Tourette's was another one. Tourette's is kind of another one of these, like, invisible ones, quote unquote. But you don't see this happening with, like, I'm gonna do a massive coming out video for me being paralyzed from the waist down or something. Like, it's always autism. Autism is the catch-all for everything. It's now getting memed in terms of, like, for example, I came on a crowd of people a couple weeks before the book was released actually talking about their quote unquote tism. Well, that's my tism acting up.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, when they see, like, if someone has, like, a weird, like, my mother said one of the wisest things about this topic she'd ever said to me. My mom was a big inspiration behind this book because she was the person that actually alerted me to a lot of this. And so she said, "Sam, have you ever noticed that no one's allowed to be just weird anymore, or have like just a weird thing that they do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have noticed that. Like, I'm weird in all the different ways. Like, I have, like, my weird, like, obsessions and rabbit holes that I go down and things that are just bizarre about me in general. But for this brand of person, it is not okay to just be weird. There needs to be a label attached to it. There needs to be a source code that is attached to it. And for a lot of people, more and more with this catch-all category of autism, that's what this is turning into, as far as I can see."
Fascinating.